What's up, fantasy managers? Welcome back to another episode of the First Pitch Podcast brought to you by PitcherList.com. My name is Jake Crumpler, and I'll be your host for this edition of the podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake Crumpler, and you can find all of my work at CrumplerBaseball.com. Let's dive into everything baseball related from Wednesday, April 30th. We'll start it off, as always, with the transactions, injuries, news, and notes from around the league. Starting it off with the bad news, as outfielder Luke Raley was placed on the 10-day IL with an oblique strain. Those are always tough. I'd expect Raley to be out for at least a few weeks. In the meantime, outfielder Rylan Thomas was recalled from the minors in a corresponding move. He was acquired from the Mets for Ryan Stanek at last year's trade deadline. He's got exceptional contact skills and the ability to swipe bags. He stole over 20 bases in the minor leagues last year, as while displaying a sub 10% strikeout rate. Thomas is expected to replace Luke Raley on the strong side of a right field platoon for the Mariners moving forward. And our other IL placement involves third baseman Jeimer Candelario, who was placed on the 10-day IL with a lumbar spine strain. He's really struggled to start the season, so it's no surprise that he is headed to the IL. He's got a 10 WRC plus on the year. The timeline for Candelario's return is still to be determined, but it looks like Spencer Steer will see more consistent playing time at first base and at DH, while Candelario is on the mend. In terms of transactions, we've got a lot of pitchers making their MLB debuts. Starting pitcher Noah Cameron, the number 5 Kansas City Royals prospect, according to MLB Pipeline, was promoted for his MLB debut in Tampa Bay. On Wednesday, he tossed 6 1/3 scoreless innings, allowing just 1 hit and 5 walks while striking out 3. He induced 8 whiffs with 22% CSW across 79 pitches. Cameron's slider was dope in this one. Everything else was all over the place, and that's why you see the 5 walks and yet 6 1/3 scoreless innings. It's hard to sort of judge starting pitchers in their debuts because of the way their stuff is affected by adrenaline, whether that be their command being all over the place or their fastball playing up. So it's difficult to determine what we can expect from Cameron moving forward. It's also undetermined whether or not he's going to stick in the rotation. He did a good job here of making his case, but Cole Reagans was pushed back, I think, just a few days. So that's why Cameron was needed here. So it's still undetermined whether or not he's going to stick in the rotation. I'd assume he's headed back to the minors. Next, we have starting pitcher AJ Blubaugh, who is the number 10 Houston prospect. He was promoted for his MLB debut versus the Tigers on Wednesday. He tossed 4 innings, allowing 5 hits and 2 earned runs while walking 1 and striking out 6. He induced 16 whiffs with 23% CSW across 84 pitches. Blubaugh's fastball and sweeper absolutely cooked in this one, but I'm not sure he has enough weapons to take down left-handed batters consistently, which is why he lasted just 4 innings against a left-handed batter-heavy lineup on Wednesday. That's AJ Blubaugh in his MLB debut. Next, we have starting pitcher Chase Petty, the number 6 Reds prospect and the number 99 prospect in baseball. Petty was promoted for his MLB debut as well on Wednesday. Did not go nearly as well as the first 2 1/3 innings, allowing 7 hits and 9 earned runs while walking 2 and striking out 3. Petty induced 11 whiffs with 29% CSW across 69 pitches. The fastball, slider, and change look promising for Petty. As you can see, 11 whiffs in under 3 innings is pretty promising there, but he got absolutely cooked in this one. Everything thrown in the zone got destroyed. He'll be back later this year. He was just the 27th man for the Reds doubleheader on Wednesday. That's Chase Petty. Terrible debut. Next, we have starting pitcher Lucas Giolito, who was activated from the 15-day IL to make his Red Sox debut in Toronto on Wednesday. He's recovering from elbow surgery. This is Giolito's first start since 2023, and he went 6 innings, allowing 5 hits and 3 earned runs while walking 2 and striking out 7. He induced 9 whiffs with 33% CSW across 90 pitches. Giolito's fastball was at his pre-surgery 93 miles per hour, and it showed improved shape as he had a steeper arm angle, which is promising for somebody who likes to live upstairs with the fastball, and he seemed to have a pretty good feel for the changeup. I think once everything comes into place for Giolito, he's going to be rock solid once he's got the rest of his pitches working. He was really just fastball change in this one. I expect that his arsenal to be expanded as the season rolls on. And lastly, we have starting pitcher Tony Gonsolin, who was activated from the 15-day IL to make his season debut versus the Marlins. He's been recovering from a back injury, and we'll talk about Gonsolin's start later. It was that impressive. In terms of news, starting pitcher Lance McCullers Jr. is expected to be activated from the 15-day IL on Sunday to make his season debut on the south side of Chicago. McCullers is recovering from flexor tendon surgery, and this would be his first regular season start since 2022. Catcher Tyler Stevenson is expected to rejoin the Reds at some point this weekend. He's been out with a strained oblique. It'll be interesting to see what the Reds do with their catching core. They have obviously Tyler Stevenson and Jose Trevino, who they extended in the offseason. So he's definitely part of their future plans. And then they also have Austin Wynns, who has been Trevino's backup with Stevenson on the IL. Wynns has been killing it with a 237 WRC plus. So I'd be surprised if they demote him, but that seems to be the most obvious move. We'll see what happens this weekend. Starting pitcher Ranger Suarez is expected to be activated from the 15-day IL on Sunday as well. He's been out with back tightness, and he's expected to start versus the Diamondbacks in his return. That's Ranger Suarez. And speaking of the Diamondbacks, lastly, we have closing pitcher Justin Martinez, who right now, after pitching on Wednesday, an MRI and an IL stint are certainly possibilities after he sat 6 miles per hour down on his heater on Wednesday. And that's the third outing in a row in which Justin Martinez's velocity was diminished. I'd expect him to hit the IL, and I'd be looking to pick up Shelby Miller right now for saves. And then eventually I think Kevin Ginkel will take over that role. He just returned from the IL very recently, I think yesterday. So I think they're going to let him get into the flow of the season before pushing him into the 9th inning. We saw on, we'll talk about more about this bullpen later. But now we'll take a look at some of the notable performances from Wednesday, a day in which we had a full slate of 16 games as we had a doubleheader between the Cardinals and the Reds. We'll start it off with our hitters, leading off with outfielder Kyle Stowers, who did all he could, but the Marlins lost in Hollywood. He went 4 for 4 with 2 runs, a double, 2 home runs, and 4 runs batted in. He's up to 4 homers on the year now. The first one traveled 423 feet at 108 miles per hour, while the second one went 407 feet at 109 miles per hour. Stowers is a forgotten post-hype Orioles prospect who's getting an everyday shot with the Marlins right now. He's had an incredible start to the season, batting .323 with a .906 OPS. And honestly, I think there's room for more. Entering Wednesday, before his 2-homer performance, Stowers was producing an 11% walk rate and a 29% strikeout rate after being a 6% walk rate, 34% strikeout rate guy in the first 3 seasons of his major league career. But he had just 2 homers to start the season, despite a 16% barrel rate and a 48% hard hit rate. Stowers moving forward is likely to trade average for power, as that 29% strikeout rate suggests his .323 batting average is unsustainable, but that 16% barrel rate suggests that 4 homers is too low of a total. He's going to need to lift the ball more to really tap into his power, but I think Stowers is a 15-team play for now. Next, we have shortstop Mason Wynn, who helped the Cardinals to win in Cincinnati on both halves of the doubleheader. In the first half, he went 2 for 3 with 2 runs, 2 homers, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, and a steal. And then the second game, he went 2 for 5 with 2 runs and a double. He's up to 3 homers on the year now and 2 steals. The first homer, Wynn hit, traveled 400 feet at 103 miles per hour, while the second one went 388 feet at 107 miles per hour. And Wynn got off to a slow start before hitting the IL with a back injury, and he's been much better since returning a little over a week ago, batting .290 with 2 homers and a steal. Obviously, the 2 homers and steal, most of that production came on Wednesday. But the real question here is, will Wynn be affected by the sophomore slump? The sample size right now is still a bit too small. He's at 21 games, and obviously it's impacted by that early season injury. Can you judge maybe underperformance if we know it was caused by an injury that now is healed? But we're seeing a more patient Wynn, and he's hitting the ball harder more consistently, which could allow him to continue to tap into the power he displayed in the second half of last year. Wynn hit 10 of his 15 homers on the season in the second half. Right now, he's batting second for the Cardinals. He's got 15-15 home run stolen base ability, and I think he should be rostered universally. And lastly, we have shortstop Jeremy Pena, who did all he could, but the Astros lost to the Tigers. He went 3 for 5 with 2 runs, a home run, and an RBI. It was his 4th homer of the year, and it traveled 373 feet at 102 miles per hour. Pena is leading off for the Astros after Jose Altuve requested to be moved down in the order. He sort of plateaued at the plate after looking like a superstar in the 2022 postseason. We've seen league average WRC pluses from Pena across the past 3 seasons. But even outside of that improved lineup spot for Pena, the intrigue has returned. He's being more patient, and it's paying off with his best plate discipline metrics of his career, while he's returned to his 2022 barrel rate and finding more consistency with a career high hard hit rate. So we're seeing more hard hit balls on a consistent basis for Pena while continuing to barrel the ball more often than he ever has before. And I think we're looking at a return to a 20 homer power upside for Jeremy Pena, with an additional upside in the batting average department thanks to that newfound 16% strikeout rate and 47% hard hit rate. The runs are also going to be off the charts, hitting at the top of that Astros lineup with a career high walk rate. That's Jeremy Pena, and I think he needs to be rostered everywhere. But if you'd like a breakdown of other notable hitting performances from Wednesday, check out the Daily Batters Box article over on pitcherlist.com. Now we'll head to the mound and check out some notable starting pitching performances, opening with Luis Ortiz, who helped the Guardians to a win versus the Twins, tossing 6 1/3 shutout innings, allowing just 3 hits and 2 walks while striking out 5. He induced 10 whiffs with 28% CSW across 90 pitches. Ortiz is still sporting the 96-mile-per-hour fastball with elite horizontal or height-adjusted vertical approach angle up in the zone, which is what you like to see. And he cooked lefties for 2 whiffs and 32% CSW on the pitch, but he landed just 56% of those pitches for strikes, which led to Ortiz throwing a lot of low changeups, backdoor sliders, and cutters over the middle of the plate while drowning righties with sinkers, sliders, and cutters in the zone. The cutter and sinker did a really good job of stealing strikes, while the slider did a good job of inducing whiffs versus right-handers. But we're really here to be excited about Ortiz's four-seamer up in the zone. So what's all this other stuff for? Right now, it really looks like it's coming together, as Ortiz had the 6 1/3 shutout innings here, but the lack of command may keep Ortiz's approach from fully coalescing, allowing him to really take off. He gets the Nationals in our nation's capital next, and that's a so-so start for me. I'm still not completely sold, though. I am interested in deeper leagues right now for Luis Ortiz. Next, we have Shane Smith, who did all he could, but the White Sox lost to the Brewers. He tossed 5 innings, allowing 6 hits and 1 run, while walking 3 and striking out 4. Smith induced 9 whiffs with 29% CSW across 80 pitches, and he continues to do his thing, going east-west with sinkers and sliders versus righties, and north-south with four-seamers and changeups versus lefties. The heater stole 8 called strikes for 32% CSW, while the slider induced 4 whiffs with 30% CSW, but in classic Shane Smith fashion, his stamina failed him, and he survived just 5 frames. Smith will continue to provide solid production in these short stints, but he's going to have a minuscule win chance pitching for the White Sox. He gets the Royals in Kansas City next. I think that's a fine stream in deeper leagues, or if you're desperate, in shallower leagues. And lastly, we have Tony Gonsolin, the aforementioned, who helped the Dodgers to win versus the Marlins, tossing 6 innings, allowing 6 hits and 3 earned runs. He walked nobody while striking out 9, inducing 17 whiffs with 43% CSW across 77 pitches. And this was Gonsolin's first start since 2023. His fastball looked good at pre-injury levels, and he dominated with the pitch away from both left-handed and right-handed batters. With 79% strikes on his fastball, Gonsolin induced 4 whiffs with 35% CSW, while his secondaries were unhittable. The slider versus righties went for 6 whiffs and 48% CSW, while the curve versus lefties went for 2 whiffs and 55% CSW. And then the splitter, which came in against both righties and lefties, 5 whiffs, 44% CSW. Every single one of his pitches had at least a 68% strike rate. Gonsolin obviously got a soft landing against the Marlins here, but you never guess who he's facing next. The Marlins in Miami. I think Gonsolin needs to be picked up everywhere right now, at least just to see what happens in that next start, but also he's pitching for the Dodgers. The win chance is really great. But if you'd like a breakdown of every single start from Wednesday, give the Plus Pitch podcast a listen and check out Nick's daily SP roundup over on pitcherlist.com. Now we'll head to the bullpen and check out the relievers that got saves and the closers that pitched outside of save situations or blew their saves. Starting with the former, Robert Suarez recorded his MLB leading 12th save with a hitless 9th. Ryan Thompson recorded his first save of the season with a hitless 9th. Justin Martinez allowed 2 runs and recorded 0 outs. Wow. As we talked about earlier, sitting 6 miles per hour down on his fastball. Shelby Miller pitched a scoreless 8th in that one, while Kevin Ginkel recorded 1 out in the 7th. I think that suggests that Miller is more trusted at this point. I think he's going to be the first man up in the 9th inning. Tommy Kahnle recorded his 5th save, recording the final 4 outs of the game without allowing a hit. Not great after Will Vest just blew up on Tuesday. Zach Agnos recorded his first career save with a scoreless 9th for the Rockies. He's a 24-year-old rookie with 1 strikeout and 6 2/3 innings this year. It's just the 3rd save for the Rockies this year. Tyler Kinley and Victor Vodnik got the others. Just don't do it. Don't try to get saves out of the Rockies. It is not worth it. Emmanuel Clase recorded his 5th save as he worked around a run to secure that one. Felix Bautista recorded his 5th save with the perfect 9th. David Bednar pitched a scoreless 9th to record his 3rd save. Carlos Estevez recorded his 9th save with a scoreless 9th, and Trevor McGill recorded his 3rd save with a scoreless 9th. And in terms of closers to pitch outside of save situations or blow their saves, Luke Jackson came on in the 9th with 1 on and nobody out and proceeded to allow 5 runs to score before being lifted. Jackson has a 6.55 ERA. I'm not sure how much longer he lasts in the closer role for the Rangers. Jeff Hoffman pitched a hitless 9th and 10th to earn his 3rd win for the Blue Jays. And lastly, Aroldis Chapman pitched a perfect 9th in a tie game. Justin Slayton allowed the zombie runner to score in the 10th, and he would go on to take his first loss. But if you'd like more information on relief pitchers, make sure to check out Rick Graham's weekly articles over on pitcherlist.com. And before we look forward to today's games, we're going to take a quick break. Now we'll look forward to Thursday, May 1st, as we'll have just 11 games on the slate to open the month. My matchup of the day is Shane Baz versus Seth Lugo. No crazy pitching matchups here, but both of these guys are really solid. I think it should be a decent pitching matchup and a pretty competitive game between the Rays and the Royals. In terms of probable starters, we've got 4 guys in our auto starts tier, including Baz and Lugo. We've also got Paul Skeens versus the Cubs and Hunter Green versus the Cardinals. In our probably starts tier, we've got 5 guys, and that's where we'll find our streamer of the day in Justin Verlander as he gets Rocky Road, he gets the Rockies in San Francisco. Verlander has been pumping high or mid 90s fastballs all year, has been looking much better than he has in the past couple of seasons, and he gets a really good matchup here versus the Rockies on the road. I'd also keep an eye out for Colin Ray as he gets the Pirates in Pittsburgh. Really good matchup there. Ray's ceiling is not very high. I don't even think he's going to go that deep into this ball game. But if you're looking for a cheap win, maybe 5 shutout innings or something with a couple strikeouts, then Colin Ray in Pittsburgh is your guy. In terms of hitter suggestions, I go for Giants hitters versus Kyle Freeland. He definitely struggles a lot of the time, and here he comes out of Coors and coming to San Francisco. I think the Giants should be able to tag him for a few runs. Tyler Fitzgerald has destroyed him in the past. He's got 2 homers in 5 at-bats against Kyle Freeland, so Tyler Fitzgerald is certainly an option to stream on Thursday. I'd also look at Nationals and Phillies hitters in Citizens Bank Ballpark. It's a pretty good hitters ballpark, but we also got a pretty good hitters matchup if you're a pitching matchup if you're a hitter, as we've got Taijuan Walker taking on Brad Lord. I'd target Nationals and Phillies hitters there. And now we'll close things out with our relievers to watch. Emmanuel Clase has pitched on back-to-back days, but so has Cade Smith. So maybe we see Hunter Gaddis get a save on Thursday for the Guardians. Carlos Estevez has pitched on back-to-back days, but so has Lucas Erceg. So maybe Daniel Lynch or John Schreiber get a save opportunity for the Royals on Thursday. David Bednar has pitched on back-to-back days. Dennis Santana is currently on the bereavement list. If he returns, he gets the opportunity. If not, we probably see Caleb Ferguson in the 9th. And lastly, Justin Martinez displayed diminished velocity on Wednesday, so I'd look for Shelby Miller to get a save opportunity on Thursday. But that'll do it for today's episode of the First Pitch Podcast. Make sure to head on over to pitcherlist.com to check out all of the great articles and features we have on the site. Sign up for PL Plus or PL Pro to gain access to the Discord and to support the Pitcher List staff. You can follow me on Twitter at Jake Crumpler. Tune in live on YouTube tomorrow and every day for a new installment of the podcast. Trevor Hooth will be with you tomorrow and throughout the weekend. And make sure to enjoy the day as we are blessed with another day of baseball.